This week's video is brought to you by NIMBLE, a light 5e rule supplement that fixes common player and DM frustrations. Check them out on Kickstarter. This week, I took the opportunity to break out my city tiles to see if I could make an awesome alleyway scene for Dungeons & Dragons. Let's jump into it. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. My name is Garmin. This is the Storycraft Society, and last week I was going over some unfinished projects that I personally have not been able to finish. And at the end of that video, I broke out my big city tiles. I made these a while ago on the channel, and it just was kind of an affirmation to myself to remind me that I can do this kind of work. Well, that got me to thinking that I haven't set a scene in a while, and more importantly, my players in my Dungeons & Dragons game are getting ready to go to the biggest city in the area that they're in. All of that has led me to wonder, can I take one of these city tiles and turn it into an awesome alleyway scene? I feel pretty confident in my ability to do so. I've got the buildings and things that I'll need to definitely make this happen, but without any more gum flapping, let's just jump into seeing what we can do here. Quick pause in the action to talk about this week's sponsor, which is NIMBLE, a lightweight rule set for 5e that is out on Kickstarter right now. If you've been watching the videos on the channel recently, you've certainly seen that I've been talking about NIMBLE a lot. That's because they sponsored this month's worth of videos, but honestly, it's because I am pretty obsessed with their lightweight rule set for 5e. NIMBLE's goal is to tackle the old adage that D&D is 30 minutes of fun spread out over 4 hours. And what they're trying to do is minimize tedious waiting, wasted turns, and unnecessary bookkeeping in order to maximize player and DM agency, as well as providing players with more interesting and meaningful choices that they can make inside of 5e combat. Inside of this lightweight rule system, you're going to find a whole bunch of modular rules that are going to change things like armor class, initiative, spell casting, attacks and critical hits, as well as reactions. And that's honestly only the tip of the iceberg. I can't go on about it all video, but if anything that I've said so far sounds even reasonably interesting to you, you should head over to their Kickstarter and check it out. I'll leave a link down in the description below. But over there, not only are you going to be able to check the rules out, but you're going to see what a ridiculously good deal this is. The entire NIMBLE rule set, which is going to be condensed into a booklet that's about 20 pages, will be available for $5 for the PDF and $10 for the physical booklet. But even better than that, it will be available for $4 for the PDF and $7 for the physical copy if you back it on the Kickstarter. Also, if you want more selling, I have a video on the channel where I actually review it in like kind of totality. So if you're interested, check that out as well. Thank you so much, NIMBLE, and we'll get back to the video. So obviously the only place to start with doing a city scene like this is pulling out buildings. But more importantly, what I tried to do was pull out my buildings that all had a city feel to them. I tried to stay away from like farmhouses and village type houses. The taller houses that would have more room for more people stacked up on top of one another is where I put my focus. So with these pulled out, now what I need to do is start trying to make the little S-turning alleyways on this particular city tile happen. And that's just gonna be very simple. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to pull all those pieces together and start making little roads out of them, putting the buildings side by side so that their sides and walls end up making the twisting and winding alleyways. All right, so let's get started with what we have here. So I'm gonna take this kind of long, thin guy. I'm gonna set that up here. I mean, honestly, this is one of those things where it just fits like too good not to use this in some capacity. And then I'm gonna take this little one and fit it down here kind of in that exact same way where it fits kind of nestled in and it creates this little alleyway that direction. Now we need something to kind of imply that same wall here. This is gonna be trickier. Actually, what we'll do is we'll take and put these in up here because they obviously will fit a little better like that. Maybe I'll push those like close together so that there's no gap there. So let's pull this guy and we'll put this guy out here. So it's a little bit longer this way, which gives me the thinner building to go here, or maybe this one goes over here. That's not bad. I broke out one of my taller buildings, and then I'll just set this pushed up against here. So now it walls this off and it implies like a lower level down here, but then it still gives that feeling of this being a tight, narrow alleyway. I think the key to making that claustrophobic, tight, big city alley feel is pretty simple, and that's just make it feel tight and claustrophobic. Keep your buildings really close together in an unnatural way, a way that feels like they were forced to be built within very close proximity of one another. And then that combined with twisting and meandering alleyways, don't make them dead straight, don't make it that you just see straight through the board. Make sure that they twist and turn, and that will create all of that visual interest. Another thing that's important to mention about something like this, and this is kind of twofold. The first one is it's going to be kind of a difficult playing surface. The players are going to have to move around to be able to see everything that's going on. It will be kind of difficult to see, and I think that that's important for DMs to remember when setting up an encounter like this. This is not going to be like a big, wide open grass mat type area. And two, I think that this is better for tabletop role-playing games than necessarily war games, unless the war gamers are going to be very patient with their ability to be careful and measure and move things in and around the terrain when it's like this. Could it make for a really awesome wargaming session? Absolutely. But I feel like it works a little bit better with tabletop role-playing games, which in my opinion are a little looser when it comes to the rules of exactly what's happening. I took some time to put out some crates and boxes, as well as put out scatter terrain that lines all of the edges of the alleyway. And this I feel like is the final touch that always makes a build like this come together. The scene just becomes so vibrant and full of life. But I'm really happy with what I got out of this. I think I nailed the claustrophobic alleyway big city feel. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments below what's something that you really liked that I did, or more importantly, what is something that you think that I could have improved on to get this to sell even better. I do really like the verticality of this particular scene. I've got all of the staircases that go up and then the different heights of buildings, which really paints the picture of a tall city that's kind of built on an incline so that it's like slowly climbing up. But yeah, every once in a while I just get a little bit of a bug up my butt to make a cool scene, and this one definitely fits that particular bill. But that's all I've got for this week. So if you enjoyed this content, definitely leave a like down below, leave a comment, all that stuff. Do the typical YouTube stuff like subscribe. That helps out the channel a ton. The number one way that you can help out any small YouTube channel that you're a fan of is to share their content with a friend that you think would enjoy it. That seems like such a super simple little thing, but it just goes such a massively long way to helping a channel out in totality. So anyone who has done that for the Storycraft Society, I appreciate you so much. But until next week, that's going to be all I've got. So I'll be seeing you. Ooh, huge thank you to NIMBLE. Thank you for sponsoring this week. Seriously, everybody go check NIMBLE out. Link down in the description below.